Your attention isn't stolen, it's auctioned. I discovered this at 3 a.m., thumb cramping, eyes burning, watching my feed refresh like a slot machine that never pays out. The blue light bathed my face in digital baptism, while algorithms calculated my worth in microseconds. The lie is social media empowers your voice. I scroll past carefully curated outrage, manufactured authenticity, algorithmic intimacy. Each post a performance, each like a tiny dopamine hit, each share a voluntary surrender of my cognitive sovereignty to invisible masters. Michel Foucault whispers from the void, "Power is everywhere," because it comes from everywhere. I feel this power in the gentle tyranny of notifications, the soft violence of infinite scroll, the democratic oppression of engagement metrics that determine whose voice deserves oxygen. I am not a user. I am data livestock grazing in digital fields. My thoughts, desires, fears, and dreams are harvested like wheat, processed into prediction models, sold to the highest bidder. The pasture looks infinite, but ends at the slaughterhouse of targeted manipulation. The mechanism reveals itself in moments of clarity. When I search for depression symptoms and receive ads for antidepressants, when I mention anxiety in a private message and my feed fills with meditation apps, when my breakup becomes a marketing opportunity for dating services. 70% of YouTube views come from algorithmic recommendations, not choice, not discovery. Calculated exposure designed to maximize watch time, engagement, ad revenue. My curiosity isn't natural. It's manufactured, directed, exploited by systems that know my desires better than I do. The descent accelerates. Each click trains the algorithm. Each pause refines the profile. Each emotional reaction sharpens the blade that will eventually dissect my psyche for profit. I am participating in my own surveillance, volunteering for my own exploitation. I remember when I thought I was the customer. The app was free, the content was endless, the connections were priceless. But the customer is the advertiser, and I am the product being sold. My attention is the commodity, my behavior, the inventory, my consciousness, the factory. The spectacle deepens. Guy Debord's prophecy manifests in every scroll. The spectacle is not a collection of images, but a social relation among people, mediated by images. My relationships are now filtered through engagement metrics, my conversations shaped by character limits and algorithmic amplification. I watch friends become brands, personalities become content strategies, authentic moments become engagement opportunities. The algorithm doesn't just recommend content, it recommends ways of being human that maximize profitability. We are all unpaid actors in someone else's revenue stream. The machinery becomes visible in its failures. When the algorithm shows me my ex's new relationship, when it recommends content that triggers my deepest insecurities, when it exploits my grief for engagement, these aren't bugs, they're features working exactly as designed. I try to escape, but the walls are algorithmic. Delete one app, another appears. Block one type of content, the system adapts. Reduce usage, notifications increase. The panopticon doesn't need guards. It needs my voluntary participation in my own imprisonment. The revelation crystallizes in the silence between notifications. I am not just unpaid labor. I am enthusiastic, unpaid labor. I wake up early to check my engagement. I stay up late crafting the perfect post. I strategize my content like a marketing executive working for free. The truth is, you are unpaid labor generating profit for a few oligarchs while surrendering autonomy. Every moment spent scrolling, posting, engaging is unpaid work in the digital plantation. My thoughts aren't mine anymore. They're training data for systems that will replace human creativity with artificial prediction. I calculate my unpaid hours. 2 hours daily scrolling equals 730 hours yearly. At minimum wage, that's 54707 in stolen labor value per person, multiplied by billions of users. The largest theft in human history happening in plain sight, celebrated as technological progress. The ethical ambiguity haunts me. I benefit from this system too. My business reaches customers. My voice finds audience. My loneliness finds connection. But each benefit comes with invisible interest, compounding into the ultimate debt, the loss of my authentic self. I watch the next generation being born into this plantation. Babies with Instagram accounts, toddlers with YouTube channels, teenagers whose entire social development is mediated by engagement metrics. They will never know what it means to exist without algorithmic mediation. The philosophers converge in my understanding. Foucault's power and Debord's spectacle merge into a single terrifying realization. We are both the prisoners and the guards, both the spectacle and the audience, trapped in a system that profits from our voluntary participation in our own exploitation. I scroll past another influencer crying on camera, monetizing their breakdown. The algorithm rewards vulnerability packaged as content. Authentic pain becomes engagement bait. Human suffering transformed into quarterly earnings. We are all complicit in this theater of exploitation. The final horror: I cannot leave. Not because the system prevents exit, but because exit means social death. My relationships, career, identity, all exist within these digital plantations. To leave is to become invisible, unemployable. The cage is made of human connection itself. I realize the ultimate genius of this system. It has made us grateful for our own exploitation. We celebrate the platforms that steal our labor. We defend the algorithms that manipulate our desires. We identify with our digital masters more than with our fellow prisoners. The blue light of my screen becomes the new starlight under which we dream. But these are not dreams of human possibility. They are algorithmic dreams, pre-approved narratives that serve the interests of our digital lords. We dream someone else's dreams and call it freedom. I understand now why the system doesn't need to hide. The most perfect prison is one where prisoners believe they are free, where the walls are made of human desires, where the guards are algorithms we voluntarily feed with our most intimate thoughts, where escape means abandoning humanity itself. The weight of complicity crushes me. Every post I make trains the system. Every interaction I have makes the algorithms smarter. Every moment of engagement is another brick in the prison we are all building together. We are the architects of our own digital confinement. I see the future unfolding in algorithmic prophecy. Children born into this system will never know privacy. Teenagers will develop personalities optimized for engagement. Adults will measure their worth in metrics. The elderly will die while their data lives on, training systems to exploit the next generation. The philosophers warned us, but we didn't listen. Foucault saw power's infinite flexibility. Debord predicted the society of spectacle. They understood that the most effective control systems don't feel like control. They feel like choice, like connection, like self-expression. They feel like freedom. I scroll through evidence of our collective delusion. Millions of people performing unpaid labor, generating trillions in value, celebrating their own exploitation. The greatest trick the digital lords ever pulled was convincing us that our chains were connections, that our surveillance was sharing, that our unpaid labor was empowerment. The blue light grows brighter as dawn approaches. Another night surrendered to the feed. Another 8 hours of unpaid labor added to my digital resume. Another day closer to the complete algorithmic colonization of human consciousness. I participated willingly in my own diminishment. I understand the final insult. We are not even slaves to the algorithms. We are slaves to each other's attention. The algorithms merely facilitate our mutual exploitation. We are both the product and the consumer, both the prisoner and the guard, both the exploited and the exploiter. The revelation settles into my bones like cold certainty. There is no evil mastermind, no conspiracy, just the cold logic of profit extracting value from human attention. The system is us. The prison is built from human connection itself. There is no one to blame but ourselves. I close my eyes and see the algorithmic patterns burned into my retinas. The infinite scroll continues behind my eyelids. The engagement metrics dance in my dreams. The blue light has colonized even my unconscious mind. I am working overtime, even in my sleep. The final calculation appalls me. Billions of human hours, trillions in stolen labor value, entire generations raised as data livestock, all for the profit of a few dozen individuals who understood that the most valuable resource in the digital age isn't oil or gold, but human attention itself. I reach for my phone again. Muscle memory, compulsion, the gentle tyranny of habit. My thumb moves without conscious thought, trained by thousands of hours of unpaid labor. I am the most efficient worker in the history of exploitation, and I pay for the privilege of being exploited. The blue light of dawn merges with the blue light of my screen. Another day begins in the digital plantation. Another day of enthusiastic unpaid labor. Another day of celebrating my own exploitation. The truth is, you are unpaid labor-generating profit for a few oligarchs while surrendering autonomy. I understand now why we cannot leave. The system has made itself essential to human connection itself. To exit is to become invisible. To resist is to become inaudible. To disconnect is to disappear. We are not just users of the system. We are the system itself, and we are all unpaid laborers in the digital plantation that we built together. The final horror is not that we are exploited, but that we have become grateful for our exploitation. We defend our chains. We celebrate our surveillance. We volunteer for our own diminishment. The most perfect prison is the one where prisoners believe they are free, and we are all enthusiastic inmates. I scroll one last time before sleep. The algorithm has learned my patterns perfectly. It knows when I am most vulnerable. It knows what triggers my engagement. It knows how to extract maximum value from my exhaustion. I am the most efficiently exploited worker in human history, and I helped design my own exploitation. The blue light never sleeps. The algorithms never rest. The extraction never ends. Even now, as I write these words, I am generating training data for systems that will eventually replace human creativity entirely. I am documenting my own obsolescence in real time, unpaid. Tomorrow I will wake up and reach for my phone. Tomorrow I will perform another day of unpaid labor. Tomorrow I will celebrate my own exploitation. The system doesn't need to change because I cannot stop participating in it. The most perfect prison is the one we carry in our pockets. The philosophers were right. Power is everywhere because it comes from everywhere. The spectacle is not images, but social relations mediated by images. We are both the prisoners and the guards, both the spectacle and the audience, both the exploited and the exploiters. There is no outside anymore. I close my eyes, but the scroll continues behind my eyelids. The blue light has become the new starlight under which we dream someone else's dreams. The algorithmic colonization of human consciousness is complete. We are all unpaid laborers now, and we are grateful for the opportunity.